let us discuss equipotential surfaces. So first is, what is equipotential surface? So if basically equipotential surface is a collection of points. So all the points of same potential, if we collect them and form a surface, then that surface is called the equipotential surface. So it is on any equipotential surface, we can say if we take any 2 points, then potential would be basically same. Next is, like if we talk about the work done in moving a charge between any 2 points on an equipotential surface. So this is a surface and potential, I'm just showing a line. It is a 2D, but it is a 3D surface. Okay, so it is an equipotential surface, and here let's say potential is V1. So if I talk about 2 points, the point A and point B. So what about VA? The VA is also V1, and what about VB? VB is also V1. So if I say that delta V, the potential difference, that is 0. And what is our work done? Work done is nothing but Q delta V. If delta, there is no potential difference, then work done is nothing but 0. Now, next is equipotential surface can never cross each other. So if there are 2 equipotential surfaces and they are crossing at any point, then if this equipotential surface, like potential on this surface, any point, potential on this surface is V1 and potential on this surface is let it be V2, then at the intersection point there will be 2 potential. Like as per this equipotential surface, the potential of this point should be V1. As per this equipotential surface, potential should be V2, and they are not same. They are different equipotential surface. So we can say that 2 equipotential surfaces can never cross each other. Now, equipotential surfaces are always perpendicular to the lines of force. So our electric field lines and the equipotential surface, they are always perpendicular. Why? So reason is, if this is an equipotential surface, let's say potential over here is on this entire surface is V1, and I am saying that let my electric field at this particular point or in this region be at like this, at an angle theta. So now due to this theta, we can split it in 2 components. One will be E cos theta and E sin theta. This is E sin theta, the perpendicular component, and this is E cos theta. So if this theta is non-90, then this component will be there. And if I move this point charge from here to here by that dx distance, then basically I am doing the work against that electric field. So my work done will not be equal to 0. And if that is not equal to 0, I will say Q delta V will not be equal to 0. And if the Q is the charge, that can't be 0. So there will be a potential difference between these 2 points. So if this E is making some angle which is non-90 or like E is not perpendicular, then E will have one component along the surface, and due to this component the work done will be non-zero, and hence we will say there will be potential difference, which is like the basically exactly opposite to the definition of the equipotential surface, that there can't be any potential difference between any 2 points on the equipotential surface. So only option is this component shouldn't be there. So I should write that E cos theta must be 0. So if E is non-zero, then theta must be 90 degree. So we can say the electric field is always perpendicular to the basically equipotential surface. Now equipotential surface are basically closely spaced. Okay, if they are closely spaced where electric field intensity is large, and they are widely spaced where electric field intensity is smaller. Why? So if these are some equipotential surfaces, let us say that this is V1, this is V2, this is V3, and the difference is like, let's say delta V only. If I have an electric field, then basically how do I write the relationship? The potential difference is defined as work done per unit charge, and work done per unit charge is basically force into displacement. I am calling it delta x. Let the gap be delta x here. So I'll say work done per unit charge, this, and force per unit charge is what? It is basically E delta x. So I am saying that if this E is bigger, then for same delta V, the delta x will be smaller. So if electric field intensity is larger, then the gap is narrower. And if electric field is smaller in a region, then this gap is basically bigger, so that their product is potential difference, so that potential difference remains same. So if this is 4 volt, this is 5 volt, this is 6 volt, for example. So what can I write? That potential difference is 1 volt. But if electric field intensity is bigger in this region, then this gap will be smaller. Okay, so they are widely spaced if electric field intensity is smaller, and they are closely spaced if electric field intensity is bigger. Now, next is for a point charge. If we are talking about a point charge, then equipotential surfaces is spherical. So basically we know that due to a point charge, the electric field lines are radially away. So only option is basically this circle, as you can see in the figure, right? So which is like always perpendicular to electric field lines. So this is an equipotential surface which looks circular, okay, but it is a 2D diagram. In 3D, if you think that electric field lines goes in all possible direction, then that circular thingy will be a spherical surface. So we can say equipotential surfaces, they are concentric spheres, and all concentric spheres, the center is nothing but center should be the point charge. So equipotential surface due to a point charge are nothing but concentric sphere as charge as their center. Next is for a linear charge. If there is a linear charge like a long wire, very long wire, or a cylindrical conductor, very long cylindrical conductor, then field lines, they basically goes like this. This is just a 2D diagram. Here field line will be like going out of the plane also, away, basically away from this linear charge if it is positive. And then just make a surface which is perpendicular to all of it. And if you think in 3D, then it will be like a cylindrical surface. So we know that it will be cylindrical, equipotential surfaces will be cylinders, and such a cylinder will have its axis as the linear charge distribution source. If we are talking about for a uniform field, if electric field is constant, then equipotential surface, so uniform field is represented by what? So uniform field is represented by field lines which are equidistant, are parallel. So here the only option is this, and this is 1D, right? This is like 2D. So you are looking at a line, but if you think in a 3D, it will be a planar surface. So equipotential surfaces are planes or coplanar surface which are basically perpendicular to those field lines. Next is there are some properties of equipotential surfaces. So first is that potential difference between any 2 points. Okay, any 2 points on equipotential surface will be definitely zero by the definition. Next is if test charge Q0 is moved from one point to the other point on the equipotential surface. If we are taking a test charge Q0 and we are moving it along the equipotential surface, then basically the potential energy will be same. What is potential energy? It is Q0 V. So charge is not changing, potential is not changing. So its potential energy doesn't change, right? The potential remains same. Hence we can say the potential energy associated with charge also remains same. Next is no work is done by the electric force when the test charge is moved along the equipotential surface. We had already discussed that field is always perpendicular, right? So if field is always perpendicular, then electric force, the QE will also be always perpendicular to the equipotential surface. Then if we are moving along the equipotential surface, then the angle is 90 degree between force and displacement, hence work done will be zero. And alternate way to say is we can say Q delta V is the work done, delta V is zero. So work done is zero. Two equipotential surface can never intersect each other because at the point of intersection there will be two potentials, and we have already discussed this. Now, electric field lines and equipotential surface, they are always mutually perpendicular. The reason I already gave you. So these are the properties. Now, in this, if you see again, so here the electric field line, so this was a spherical and this was radial, right? So field lines are perpendicular. All these field lines are perpendicular to the equipotential surface. Here field lines are like this, radially away from this, and here also they are perpendicular. Here the field lines are this, and this is a planar surface. So here also the field lines are perpendicular to the equipotential surfaces in all three cases. We just, this is the point we already discussed. Now, next is electrostatic potential energy. If we talk about electrostatic potential energy, the definition is basically when we move a charge from one point to the other, keeping its velocity as a constant or without gaining any kinetic energy, then whatever work you do is stored in the form of potential energy. So if we are moving a charge Q0, so this is a system. So let's talk about first the potential energy of a system of 2 point charges. So if there are 2 point charges Q1 and Q2, they are separated by r distance, then the potential energy is given by k Q1 Q2 by r, or 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by r. Now how this is coming? So basically by definition we say that this potential energy is nothing but this is the energy required. Okay, so the potential energy given potential energy, how do we calculate it? So this is the energy while we are making the system. We'll discuss that later and we'll rediscuss this point. So while using the values of charges in this formula, you need to put them with charge. And now let us discuss that in detail. So again we are talking about a system of point charges. So first is the 2 point charges only. So if we are talking about 2 point charges, then the definition, the electric potential energy, it is defined as the total work done in assembling the system. It is like total work done in making the system when there were infinite separation initially. So whatever work you do without changing its kinetic energy, remember that. So when you do any work without changing in kinetic energy, where this work goes? This work goes in potential energy of the system. So let us rediscuss these 2 charges. Formula we already know that what is the answer is going to be. Answer is going to be k Q1 Q2 by r. R12 is the distance between 2 points. So let us say this was my region and I have to make this system of 2 charges Q1 and Q2 which are separated by a distance R12, and initially they are infinity. The charge Q2 is kept over here and charge Q1 is basically kept over here. So what I will do, I will bring this charge in a specific place. Let's call it this point as A, and I have to bring this Q2 at B, and the distance between point A and B is nothing but R12. Now when we are bringing this in this entire space, there is no other charge, so we won't get any electric field. So we are not doing work against any of the electric field. Hence we will say that work done by us in bringing Q1. Now Q1 is over here, we brought it, and work done, what we did? We did zero work because we got no oppose, right? When we move Q2 over here, then work done, we did some additional work, and what is that work? Work done is given by QV, right? The Q delta V. So work done per unit charge is potential, so it is QV. We are bringing Q2 charge and V is the potential of point B. And that is the work we are doing when we are bringing Q2 charge at this position. Now Q2 is here, and how much work we are doing? We are doing this work. So our potential energy is nothing but 0, which is like no work, plus Q2 into VB. And how do we write potential of this point VB? It is KQ by R. This potential is due to Q1. And by that, I'll get Q2, this Q2, and VB is nothing but K Q1 by R12, right? At a distance R12, the potential due to charge Q1 is given by KQ by R, right? Q is Q1 and R is R12, and this is K, which is K Q1 Q2 by R12. And what is Q1? Q1 is first charge, Q2 is second charge, R12 is distance between them, and K is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So this is the potential energy of a system of 2 point charges. So there are 2 point charges and potential energy is given by this. Now let's have a look at 3 point charges. If we have to, again, we have to make a system of 3 point charges. So this is Q1, this is Q2, and this is Q3. This distance is nothing but R12, this distance is nothing but R13, and this distance is nothing but R23. Like R23 is the distance between point 2 and 3. R13 is the distance between point 1 and 3. Now, I have to make this system while each and everything was lying at infinity. So first, let us bring Q1. How much work you do? When you bring Q1 from infinity, there is nothing else. So you do 0 work. So first, I am writing total work. Work is 0 plus. Now bring the next second charge, that is Q2. If you bring Q2 over here, then you are doing the work against that. And how much is the work done? Q delta V. So Q is basically Q2 which we are bringing, and potential at this point is nothing but due to Q1. So it is K Q1 by R12. This distance which is R12, right? Now let us bring Q3 also. When we are bringing Q3, the work done will be Q, which is Q3 del, and V, potential of this point. And potential of this point is basically due to this charge, it is K Q1 by So due to that one, it is k q1 by r13. This distance is r13, and due to this potential, due to this q2 is nothing but k q2 by r23. This is my total work done. And when I add these three terms, I get the potential energy. So if I write the potential energy, then potential energy is k q1 q2 by r12, this term, plus k q1 q3 by r13, this multiplies with this second term, plus k q2 q3 by r23. R23 is the distance between point charge 2 q2 and point charge q3. Now let us have a look again. So this is how we will like to write. It is what? See, first you take q1 with 2 and 3. So k q1 q2 upon r12, and now 1 with 3, 1 with 2, 1 with 3. So 1 is done. Then 2 is only has to be taken with 3, the next one. And this is how we can write. If we have to write the potential energy for 4-point charges. Now 4-point charges I want to write. So I have to again do the entire procedure, but I can remember it in the pattern. So pattern is, first I take 1 with 2, 3 and 4, right? So everything is done. Then I take 2 with 3 and 4. Then I take just 3 with the 4. So the potential energy, while writing the potential energy for system of 4-point charges q1, q2, q3 and q4, the distance between any 2-point charges, let's say q1 and q3 is r13, right? R13 is the distance between point charges q1 and q3. So there will be like 6 terms. Now if you add one more, then you have to do work against these 4. So there will be like 4 more terms. So for a system of 5-point charges, there will be like 4 more terms next. So that's how it changes. So you can write using this pattern, you can write the like potential energy for any amount of system of point charges. So if we have a system of n point charges, there are small n point charges, then how do you write it? So this is the general formula which we can utilize. How do we make, like how do we use this? So idea is, first you put the value of j from 1 to n and keeping the value of 1 to n also. So first I am putting j. So if I put j, like I am using this, then I get, this is k, okay, I am writing k for shortcut, and this is qi, q1, because I am putting the value of j from 1 to all the way up to n, right? And then I get an I value, I will put 1 by 1. So I is equal to 1, I have to put, then 2, then 3, while j is varying from 1 to n. So first I am choosing I to be 1. So I is, let's say, 1, and then q, this is basically, j is also changing from 1 to n, and this will be rij, so r11 plus k q1, like this I is fixed, I is like 1 and put the value of j. So q2 by r12 plus k q1 q3 by r13 and so on, k q1 qn by r1n. So first, this is like first, for just I is equal to 1, you have to write everything like all similar terms for I is equal to 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to n. So there will be like n into n square terms, right? Then there is a condition that I is not equal to j. So we do not write such terms where like I and j both are 1 or I and j both are 2 or I and j both are 3. So for 1, we are just left with 1, 2, like 1 with 2 and 1 with 3, then 1 with like all the width. The next thing which we get for 2, so we get these k q2 q1 by r12 or 21, which is the same. R12 and R21 is the distance between 1 and 2. Okay, then I get k q2 q2 by r22 plus k q2 q3 r23 plus k q2 qn by r1n or 2n. Now this again I don't have to consider because I and j both are 2 and 2. Now when you are writing these terms, so basically n terms will cancel out automatically. But if you see this term has been repeated. So like 1, 2 will come with, like when we are writing the row for 1 and we are writing the row of, when writing of row of 2 for, then also like 2, 1 will come. So it will come 2 times. That's why there is a half, because all the terms are repeated twice. So this is the formula for n terms. If generally this is maximum, it is asked up to 5 or 6 charges. So it is better to remember the pattern, not to remember this formula. If we have to utilize this formula, then you can remember. But generally the 5 or 6 point charges formula is sufficient that can be manually written. Now, there are some important points regarding electrostatic potential energy. So, first is work done required by an external agency to move the charge Q from A to B is given by Q delta V, right? And here remember that we are keeping the constant speed. If we are changing the speed, then basically entire work won't be stored in the potential energy, so it will slightly change. And this is just the energy conservation. If we are talking about, if we are leaving a point charge, okay, so if we are leaving a point charge and that is going from A to B, so the point charge is automatically going from A to B. So here some potential energy was there, this was QVA. Here the sum of the potential energy was there, which is QVB. And now here I am assuming that there is a loss in potential energy. So whatever is the loss in potential energy, that will be reflected in gain in the kinetic energy. So this is just the energy conservation. And here I will assume that the kinetic energy, if potential energy is lesser, then we are losing the potential energy, we'll gain the kinetic energy. And it is kinetic energy over here, which is half mVb square, minus kinetic energy over here, which is half mVa square. So this is the gain in kinetic energy. This is just the alternative form of energy conservation. Now there is a question, and this question says that what is the work done by electrostatic field when we put the 4 charges together as shown in the figure. Now each of these side of the square has a length A, and initially the charges were at infinity. We had already discussed that when charges are infinity and we bring from all the charges to infinity and we form this system, then work done is same as the potential energy of the system. So indirectly they are asking what is the potential energy of this system of these 4 charges. Now I am just giving them numbers. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. So how do we write for 4 charges? I will write that first K, Q1, Q2. So what is 1 and 2? Minus Q and this. Here we take them charges. We take the charges with sign. So it is minus Q into plus Q, which is minus Q square. So K, Q1, Q2 by R12. R12 is the distance between these two, which is A. Now 1 with 2 is done. 1 with 3. So 1 with 3 is this and that, right? So Q1, Q2 is like minus Q into minus Q, which is just plus Q square by distance, right? K, Q1, Q2 by R. What is this distance? If we are talking about a square, then this distance is like root 2a. So the distance is root 2a. Now this is just 1 with 2 is done, 1 with 3 is done, now 1 with 4. Okay, so 1 with 4. So again K, Q1, Q4, right? So that is the product is minus Q square by distance between them, which is simply a. So this is also done. Next is 2 with 3 and 2 with 4, right? So plus, what is 2? 2 is this. So this with that. So K, product of the charges, which is minus Q square, because one is negative, one is positive, divide by the distance, which is this, plus, now this is done 2 with 4. So again here the distance is root 2a. So and the K, Q1, Q2. So again both of them are positive. So K, Q square. So K, Q1, Q2 by R, which is root 2a. So this is also done. Last is the 3 with 4 is left. So let us write this and that. So this is again K, Q1, Q2, which is minus Q square by R, which is simply A. So this is an expression for potential energy of the system, which is the same as the work done when we are bringing all the charges from infinity and forming this system. How much is the combined? So if you see, there are 1, 2, 3 and 4. 4 like terms are there. It is minus 4K Q square by A. And there are 2 of these. So that is basically plus 2 times this. And 2 times this means root 2 KQ square by A. Here you can take KQ square by A common. And eventually the answer, the work done, is nothing but KQ square by A. And it is root 2 minus 4. Obviously it is negative work. Minus 4. So this is negative work, but we are forming a system, so we have to do some of the negative work, because see, there are positive charges, there are negative charges. So while we will bring the negative charges, it is possible that electric field might attract them, right? So we have to do the negative work as well.